Dear students, welcome to ePathshala. Today I am Professor Sandhya from School of Economics, University of Hyderabad. Today we are going to have a lesson on module Tools of Economic Evaluation 1. The learning objective of this module is to know the need for evaluation tools for decision making. It brings out various tools of economic evaluation and their application in health sector. Now, let us know what is economics. Economics is the science of choice. It studies how people choose to use scarce resources to produce various commodities, goods, and to distribute these goods to various members of society for their consumption. Resource allocation. The wants are plenty for the people, but resources are scarce. So, here comes the role of economists. Role of economics is important in allocating resources to different sectors of economy and within the sectors that will bring maximum output which are otherwise foregone for some other purpose. Contribution of economics to healthcare. The basic concept of economic analysis is the concept of rational choice. Consumers and producers are assumed to weigh the costs and benefits of different course of action in order to choose the most preferred alternative. Decision making at individual level. All of us make decisions to allocate our limited resources for our families and ourselves. We wanted to maximize satisfaction or utility and aim to maximize our expected welfare by choosing to buy goods and services that achieve this end. There is no alternative mix of goods we could consume that would increase our welfare. Decision making for society. When a decision is made on behalf of society to provide some services collectively, the aim is to maximize the welfare of the whole of the society and in a similar way to ensure that no change in the mix of patterns of consumption of goods and services would increase overall welfare. Aims of economic evaluation. To aid decision makers with their difficult choices in healthcare resources, setting priorities and shaping health policy. The real purpose of doing economic evaluation is to improve efficiency, the ways inputs, money, land, labor, capital can be converted into outputs, saving life, health gain, improving quality of life, etc. Welfare economics. This is a branch of economics that deals with the normative economics, and the efficiency of economic systems as a whole is called welfare economics. It evaluates the relative desirability of economic alternatives with respect to society as a whole from an ethical or value judgments. In welfare economics, we study the level of satisfaction achieved by all consumers and not just one of them, and efficient allocation of resources in production from the point of view of all producers and not just one of them. Efficiency. Automatic outcome of perfect market is effective behavior. Consumer satisfaction is maximized at least cost to the society. In other words, minimize the opportunity cost. The value of next best alternative foregone in order to achieve something is what is called as opportunity cost. The cost of providing one form of healthcare should always be balanced against the benefit which have to be sacrificed. Automatic outcome of perfect markets is efficient behavior. Consumer satisfaction maximized at least cost to society. In other words, minimize the opportunity cost. The value of next best alternative foregone in order to achieve something. The cost of providing one form of healthcare should be balanced against the benefit which has to be sacrificed. Welfare economics states that in the absence of external effects or public goods, every competitive equilibrium, an allocation in which consumer maximizes his utility and every producer maximizes his profit, constitute Pareto optimum. There are unique characteristics of health. Health has the following unique characteristics: risk and uncertainty of occurrence of illness, relationship between health and improvement after treatment, and financial cost for the treatment. To quote Arrow, health services is inherently uncertain. Also, occurrence of illness is not evenly distributed among the population. Health is a merit want. Existence of externalities, licensure and asymmetry of information. And also there are some other certain health activities have public good characteristics. The social benefits are greater than the individual private benefits. Merit want. Health and education are merit wants. Certain goods are considered by the state as merit wants as they have to be provided by the state irrespective of a person's ability to pay. Here health and education come under this category. Externality. Externality is the spillover effects of other people's production or consumption of commodity that affects an individual in either positive or negative way. There are two types of externality. Positive externality, example, preventive medicine. It has social benefit, treatment for a TB patient. So when you treat a TB patient, it will not spread to the other patients. So that is the social benefit. Negative externality, pollution of environment by industry. One example. Another example is smoking by a person. It brings out social costs, because cigarette smoking is a private cost. Though it is a private cost, it affects the others who are around him. So there are social costs involved for others and also the society. The costs and benefits of such spillovers cannot be accounted for in market transaction, because in such transactions consumers and suppliers consider only costs and benefits to themselves but not to the society. The mechanism to deal with positive externality is to subsidize it, and to deal with the negative externality is to tax it. The next characteristics of healthcare is licensure and asymmetry of information. Societies care more about mistake in healthcare because the mistakes are more serious. Effect of externality is greater. So there is a need to maintain standard and quality for medical training, hospital practice by physicians, hence the licensure is required. Asymmetry of information. The buyer should judge the difference between his state of well-being with or without the commodity and make a decision either to buy healthcare or not. But in case of healthcare, even after buying the product, the consumer is not sure of his recovery from illness, because the physician knows a greater deal more than the patient does about the patient's need for various types of care. Due to this, most of the societies do not want to rely solely on competitive market forces to ensure appropriate behavior by physician. Also, there is no perfect agency relationship between the consumer and the supplier. In a perfect agency relationship, the producer has to act on behalf of the consumer in toto, but here it is not possible. Consumer is not sovereign because he is not informed fully about the product, that is the treatment, and cannot gain knowledge as information costs are high and collect information due to anxiety during illness. Another thing is also prevailing distribution of income is not fair in the society. Public good, it is characterized by non-rivalry in consumption and non-exclusion. Non-rivalry in consumption, if a consumer I obtains a unit of good H, then the another consumer J can also use the same unit without diminishing J's enjoyment of the good. Example, vaccination using a public road or lighthouse, etc. Non-exclusion. No one can be barred from using a good even if he has not contributed to its provision. Example, disinfecting a pond with DDT and vaccination. So these are the two public goods characteristics. Health has both these characteristics. Certain activities of health have both the characteristics. So because of the unique characteristics of the healthcare, there are certain reasons for the state's intervention. Justification for state intervention in healthcare market for most countries is due to market failure in healthcare, to ensure equity, in the absence of socially optimum supply of hospital, to promote both technical and allocative efficiency, to contain an ever increasing cost of medical care, failure of health insurance market, dependency of healthcare on drugs, here also inappropriateness of agency relationship and related regulatory problems exist. No country in the world has a completely free market for the healthcare because the fundamental market failures in this area, which is quoted by classical work by Arrow in 1963. It is widely agreed that healthcare system left to market forces alone will not be socially optimum in terms of quantity, quality of cost, as quoted by Haisho in 1995, and would not lead to an effective and efficient healthcare system, as quoted by Rosenthal and Neubrander in 1997. The economic basis for Production and subsidy emphasizes public action to compensate market failure to provide an efficient allocation of resources, again quoted by several classic economists. Further, there is an option demand for the hospitals. They should be available as a standby in case of emergencies such as accident, outbreak of epidemics, etc., which cannot be taken care by the private market. Hence, it would be appropriate for state intervention, public production of goods, compulsory health insurance for securing higher degree Pareto efficiency than the market would provide. There are two levels of efficiency. One is operational efficiency. It involves a selection between alternative means of achieving the same ends. Achieving maximum output for a given level of cost or minimum cost for a given level of output. The tool for this is cost effective analysis. Example, the choice between effective drug therapy and a surgical operation to treat a given condition. The second type of efficiency is allocative efficiency. Allocative efficiency judges whether the action is worth doing. The appropriate tool is cost benefit analysis. The rule of allocative efficiency capture the utilitarian ethic, the maximization of satisfaction for the greatest number of individuals who collectively form society. But the allocative efficiency may create a pattern of resources and benefit distribution which discriminates against certain members of society that leads to the question of equity. Equity, it is interpreted as providing a basic level of health services to all, a system of justice based on consciousness and fairness. This perspective ensures that due account is taken of all costs and benefits of intervention, regardless whether they fall within or outside the healthcare sector. Example, on families and on patients or on the productive capacity of the economy. Economic evaluation. Definition of economic evaluation by Drummond et al. In 1907. He defines economic evaluation as the comparative analysis of alternative courses of action in terms of both their costs and consequences. It considers both costs and consequences and also has to be comparative. Evaluation needs to be comparative as an intervention can only be labeled as good or bad relative to some benchmark alternative. So, table 1 defines economic evaluation by taking three criteria: cost, consequences and comparison. If an evaluation is comparative but does not consider both costs and consequences only, it becomes a partial evaluation. Costs and consequences are considered but not comparative, then also it becomes only partial evaluation. Cost outcome studies are examples for that. It lacks context and is limited, it's of limited use. Alternatives are compared but only in terms of costs or benefits and not both, then also it becomes partial evaluation. It is an effectiveness study or cost analysis. Comparative but only across one dimension. An economic approach can be considered as a full evaluation technique if alternatives are compared in terms of both costs and benefits. Techniques of economic evaluation. There are different types of economic evaluation techniques which are used in different situations. Here we are describing about 4 such techniques. One is cost minimization analysis. It is appropriate if the outcome is same for all options and the questions is simply what is the least cost way of achieving the outcome. The second one is cost effective analysis. It measures the health outcomes in terms of health outcomes only, such as number of lives saved in the target group. Cost effective analysis can be used to compare projects whose effects are on health only. Third one is cost utility analysis. This is used to compare costs with benefits measured as utility gains. It adopts index of benefit that is common across different types of services. Example, QALYS, quality adjusted life years. Cost utility analysis may be regarded as a special case of cost effective analysis, where utility enters explicitly into the evaluation process. For instance, an incremental cost effective ratio might be expressed as incremental cost in monetary units, incremental utility of additional life years. Let us assume a utility function of form u equal to u, L and Q, where u is the utility, L is the length of remaining life, and Q is the quality of life during the remaining years. It is necessary to construct an index that embodies both L and Q. The value of the states of health that a person experiences are weighed by the length of time spent on each state. Example, quali, daily. Daly's focuses on the extent of loss due to morbidity and mortality. The fourth technique is cost-benefit analysis. It attaches monetary value to the length to the health outcome of the project. Cost-benefit analysis helps in comparing benefits of health projects with outside health projects. Thus, CBA can be used as a tool to allocate resources between health and other sectors. The choice of the above methods depends on the constraints in measurement of the outputs. Usually, outcomes are measured in money or utility scores. Cost-effective analysis and cost-benefit analysis are the methods for comparing the benefits and costs of a medical intervention in order to determine whether it is worth doing. Cost-effective analysis measures the benefit in terms of some standard clinical outcomes or effectiveness of such as mortality rates, years added life, QALYs and DALYs. Cost-effective analysis, it is a method that allows to measure marginal cost in money and marginal benefit in natural units such as reduction in cholesterol levels. CEA is used to evaluate alternative treatments for early stage breast cancer, mastectomy or lumpectomy plus radiation therapy and alternative chemotherapy drugs for treatment of late stage breast cancer. Marginal cost. Here we should know the definition of marginal cost. Marginal cost is the amount at any given volume of output by which aggregate costs are changed if the volume of the output is increased or decreased by 1 unit. In case of production of healthcare services, it reflects the changes in total cost at a given scale of output when a little more or little less output is produced. The concept of marginal is very important in health planning, as we are seldom concerned with totally eliminating one activity and starting an altogether new one. Most of the decisions are made in the margin, considering as how much additional cost is involved in moderately expanding the output, or how much cost expenditure is saved by cutting the output a little. Cost-effective analysis, the benefits are often measured in 5-year survival rate or post-operative life expectancy. CEA is used to evaluate alternative treatment for AIDS. It is also widely used in resource allocation decision concerning the development of medical technologies. In case of mutually exclusive interventions, example surgery or drugs, the issue is where the additional improvement in health benefits is worth the additional cost. Here the incremental cost effective is required. Incremental cost effectiveness. Incremental cost effective ratios are used. We want to compare a new medical treatment T1 with one commonly used, that is T0. We can then define cost effectiveness ratio as C by E equal to mu C1 minus mu C0 divided by mu E1 minus mu E0. Let mu 0 represent the average cost of any treatment T1 and mu E1 EI the average effect of treatment TI. There are 3 steps involved in cost effective analysis. 1. Developing comprehensive cost stream data and analysis of cost of each alternative. Cost accounting is defined. This can be achieved through cost accounting. Cost accounting is defined as a process of manipulating or rearranging the data or information in the existing account in order to obtain the cost of services rendered by an organization. Second step is the analysis of effectiveness of each alternative. The third one is the analysis of the relationship between the cost and effectiveness of each alternative. Marginal cost effective analysis. As the scale of particular intervention increases, example, more visits per patient or expansion of services to a greater number of patients, diminishing returns are likely to affect, such as a decline in the net benefit per patient. In such cases, marginal cost effective analysis is needed. Cost. What is the definition of cost? Cost refers to the resources which are spent in carrying out health activities so far as healthcare sector is concerned. It is to be understood that unrealized benefits also could account to costs. For example, loss of productivity due to morbidity or disability or mortality is also a cost. Costs and consequences. Costs can be defined mainly in many ways. Look at table 2, direct costs, indirect costs and intangible costs. Direct costs are immediately associated with an intervention such as staff time, consumables, etc. Indirect costs must include patient's work due to treatment. Intangible costs may be like pain, anxiety and quality of life. All type of economic evaluation deal with costs in the same way or at least the same units, monetary units. The table 2, evaluating costs and consequences reproduced by Tremont. So, costs were here resources consumed, that is costs, and health programs, effects, utilities and health manpower, that is the benefits, health improvement, that is the benefits. Direct benefits, reduction in morbidity and mortality rates. Indirect benefits, time of health personnel saved for treatment in future, in other words, amenities that can be used for other purposes. Intangible benefits, psychological benefit and improvement in quality of life. Examples of costs and benefits are given in table 3. This table 3 explains the cost examples and benefits examples. Let us look at the capital cost examples are capital used, land, buildings and vehicles. Benefits example, capital released for uses, land released for the uses, buildings released for other uses. Revenue used, labor, supply, support services. Revenue released for the other uses, labor released for other purposes, supplies released for other purposes. Then support services. More work for staff is the cost and less work for the staff is the benefit. Fewer staffing possibilities and more staffing possibilities, staff training possibilities. Similarly, we have patients, the costs involved for the patients, relatives, staff cost, ignorance, dissatisfaction. Benefits are patients to the patients, relatives, staff. So the benefits are cost, information and satisfaction. Decision making burden, also a cost for the patients. Relief from the decision making burden is a benefit. Time lost for the treatment, time saved is the benefit. Inconvenience caused due to illness is the cost and expenses incurred due to illnesses or costs. Similarly, the benefits are the convenience because time is not lost and the benefits are less expenses. Let us look at some other examples of costs. Unhealthier patients, less cure, more pain, disability, worse prognosis, etc. Some more examples are less care, more discomfort, boredom, worse environment in the hospitals or in health centers. Another cost to the economy is lost output outside the health services, loss to the household economy as well as loss to the economy of the country as a whole. Some other examples of benefits are unhealthy patients, more cure, less pain, disability, better prognosis so that people can enjoy their life in a healthy way. Then less care is needed for as a benefit, less discomfort, boredom, better environment. People can live with happiness. This is the benefits that one can achieve. Increased output, the other benefits are increased output, because if the people are healthy, they can participate more productively in the economy, and the output of the whole country will increase. That comes as a outside health services. Thank you.